Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Talk That Tech, the number one tech morning show in the world.
In the world.
There we go. Oh man, we got another one for you. So excited to have be back on the show, man. First and foremost, how was your weekend, Trey?
Man, the weekend was good. Man, they got me over here, man. As soon as my turn to get to going, it like glitched or something. And now my stream is not even set up anymore. It was like, oh, it looks like you're muted, your mic is muted, and then it just took off everything I was just doing. So
Uh,
I mean, up until right then, it was great. No, but the weekend was solid, man. I'm about to have to redo all this, but the weekend was solid. Just Saturday, man, I had a little killer headache, man. So I didn't really do much Saturday, man. I was trying to get rid of that. Um, I got a little bit of college football in, a little bit, but
okay.
not that much. And then Sunday, I was feeling better. Went to church, and then also that evening, man, one of my cousins, she had a baby shower, and so we went to that and had a good time. Obviously, seeing everyone, and yeah, man, pretty solid weekend. How was yours?
Oh, it was good. I'm definitely gonna get into it. It was eventful. But I gotta go to Tech Coach Ralph, who's in the building, said good morning,
Hey,
fellas.
good
So we
morning.
got
Good
a
morning.
good morning. Mitch said, yo, the crew is in
What
the
up?
building. So glad to have y'all rocking with us, man. So glad to have y'all rocking with us for sure. But yeah, my weekend was good, man. My weekend was good. I mean, also before I even continue to talk about my weekend, I want to say if you have not already and you're a first time listener, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, especially if you're on YouTube. I just drop the links as well. And subscribe to the channel. Like I said the last time, if you want to see any replays of the videos that we have and everything that's going on, they're going to be all strictly over there. If you go to my channel, they're not going to be there. But if you need a reminder, here's a ticker at the bottom for you to like, comment, and subscribe because we'd love for you to go ahead and do that thing if you can. In regards to my weekend, it was definitely a unique one. But first and foremost, spend some time, of course, family wise, on Sunday, relaxing and things of that nature. But on Saturday, I actually went out to a conference event that they had on their
Hey,
last day called SIS Sisters in Sales. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, it's Sisters in Sales. What are you as a man doing there? Well, I'm there to support. And so I had opportunity to support and opportunity to connect with a lot of people. And we'll definitely talk about that actually in a moment. But in regards to my entire weekend, it was good overall. I truly enjoyed it. I did watch the Chiefs play yesterday against the Falcons and
yes,
come out
indeed.
on top. So that was the
Yes.
game that I watched. Did you see that game too?
So I just saw the highlights, man. Because I was, like I said, I was out at the baby shower and stuff. But what I did see was the Cowboys get just straight ran through, pause, ran through by Derrick Henry. So I did see that while I was there. Matter of fact, it got so bad. I think that's why it happened. I looked up and then it was off. Like they turned the T. I'm like, y'all could at least turn it to another game, you know. But they turned the whole thing off.
No worries. I think between that and the Colorado Boulder game, I believe it was this Friday. That was a good one too.
Oh, that was good. That was a good game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because definitely, Baylor's right down the road, so a lot of people was watching that one. But that was a pretty solid game. I
Yeah.
must say, even that one, halftime or closer to halftime, Kiana, she was like, "Hey, you want to watch Fight Night? Go ahead and finish that." And I looked at the score. I'm like, I looked at her. I looked at the score. I was like, you know what? They probably about to lose. I was like, it's probably about to get a crazy lead. Baylor's about to get a crazy lead. Let's go ahead and watch it. And
Oh boy.
man, I woke up the next morning. watch the highlights and stuff. I'm like, oh snap! It ended up being a great game, but sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, those Hail Marys are something special. I'll tell you that right now. I feel a little bit like that's where he thrives, Shador, when it comes to those late time moments. But yeah, no, I think it was an excellent game. And if y'all watched any games or things of that nature, put in the comments section. We're going to keep the show rolling with an icebreaker because if you did not know this, it is among us right now, which is, you know, the conference season, right? So my question to you is, what conference do you plan to attend this fall? This is conference season now. This is time to go out, do different events. What do you plan to attend this fall? And put it in the comment section. I don't know if you have a response for this, but I have one in mind. Do you have one in mind, Trey?
Not yet. I don't have one in mind.
All
I
right. Well,
do.
I go ahead. I'm sorry.
Huh?
Oh, you were saying
Oh,
something? I'm sorry. I
no, no,
cut you off.
I said I don't. I said I don't have one in mind.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, for me, I wanted to say that for me, it was always been Thanksgiving. Here, I had an amazing time at Thanksgiving. That normally is in December around the DC area. In fact, it is in DC, and it's something that I thought was really good just to see everybody gathered together like that. And I was like, man, this is going to be a fun time for sure. Again, so I'm definitely looking forward to get that. Mitch says, "Catch these hands conference. It's free of charge. You can get in there if you have beef with Mitch. So go to Catch These Hands conferences while tickets are still available. Uh,
Man,
doing a conference at
man.
work, Tech Coach Ralph says. Doing a conference at work. Oh, peace and blessings. OTTO is in the building. Operation Tech
Hey,
Takeover, a day oneer. Thank you all for the day ones, but he's definitely a day one. So when he comes on, we got to stop the presses and make sure he's aware. Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, I know there's a lot to. That's why we have the list that we do, so that way we can kind of share with you, and we'll talk about it later, which is Black Tech Global and the list that we get there. So you are aware of what's going on and you're able to participate. But right now, I'm actually going to give a little recap on my experience this past Saturday because I had a great one. And honestly, sometimes you underestimate, or I should say, sometimes I have underestimated being in the room. But like I mentioned to you, the conference that I'm looking forward to, Thanksgiving, that was an eye opener for me. That made me realize, hey, you know what? I need to be in the room whenever I can. And so I just want to kind of start off this segment with that. But before we even start off, if this is always a good conversation, y'all. So if you ever feel the need to go ahead and call into the show, I'm going to drop in the call in link because we want to hear from you as well. So if there's any sort of subject or anything that we talk about, I'm going to drop it off periodically on the YouTube channel. So definitely join us. Definitely join us. And you
for
could,
sure.
yeah, be a part of the show that way. But yeah, I think for me personally, I really had at this particular conference. But before I actually go into this, I want to ask a question since y'all are not sure what conference did you want to take be a part of, except for Mitch. He says Catch These Hands conference. That's officially what he wants to
Yeah.
do. But for everybody else, since you're kind of trying to figure that out, what was a conference that you went to this year that you thought was, oh man, I'm so glad I went. If it could be even be a virtual conference, it doesn't have to be in person. But what was a conference or an event that you attended this year that you're like, man, this was a really good. I'm so glad I went. And Trey, if you have an answer for that, I'll let you go for sure first, while the audience
Uh
tries to respond.
yeah, for me, man, Tech Connect, man. Tech Connect was good, bro. Just seeing a lot of people there. Just people who uh obviously that you see virtually, right? You see virtually all the time. Just online, all that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden, everybody's there, and you're chatting it up. You have the conference that then leads into the dinner, and the evening of just chopping it up, camaraderie, and just strategizing, even talking about the future. It was really great to do that. Um, yeah, it was a pretty solid time, man, for sure. But again, it was one of those things where you just like you were just saying, just being in the room and being there. Um, it's really fun, but then also you're learning as well. You're um, talking to people, connecting with people, and then even it gives you a chance to, people who maybe see you often as well, and then now they get a chance to see you in person. When people walk up and they're like, "Yo, y- yo, I watch you all the time," and it's like, wait, oh, really? So that, I mean, that was really cool as well, man. To have people come up and also see like, yo, your work is not going in vain. You're doing something for the community, and so yeah, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I got Mitch that said I did not attend any Shake My Head. Well, the year is not done yet. So if you get a
It's not.
chance to see anything that we talk about on this show, whether it's virtual, a lot of these events are free. I definitely recommend that you get a chance to do that. But without further ado, and please, everybody, put your comments below. Let us know. I'm going to jump right into it. And before I do, like I mentioned earlier, if there is any time that there's a topic that you want to talk about, firsthand experience, you want to call in about, that is not a problem. You could definitely call in through the call in link. It's going to be on my channel. It's going to be on Talk That Tech channel. So you can definitely could drop and look at there for it. But let us know. So my experience, and I want to share this screen so you kind of get an idea of the quality of this particular event. And that's what I kind of wanted to kind of hone in on. I was very impressed with the quality of this show, that this conference, I should say. And so, Sister in Sales was is founded by Chantel George. As you can see from the screen there, they had a lot of things going on, and basically, it's an opportunity for people, specifically women who are in sales, to be empowered, to be educated, and to be equipped with what they needed to go ahead and make impact in this world. And so, again, the question will be like, "You're a dude. Why were you there?" So I was there because I basically had a friend that was going to be there, which was Ty Smith, a friend of the show. His wife Ayana was going to be there, and it was an opportunity to connect with them. I had a few other friends. Kavana was in the building, Ben, Genti, a few others that we knew each other on LinkedIn. We even met and probably had conversations prior, but we were never in the same place at the same time. And so I was able to go to this event, and I wanted to point something out to you is that they really had an amazing itinerary, and all these people that are from these different companies, Oracle, Dynatrust, NBC Universal, able to have a conversation with and kind of just share a little bit about what I'm doing in the world. And Tech Coach Alpha is hilarious. I'm pretty sure you were wondering that. He said I wasn't wondering that at all. But yeah, so but no, it was really good. And you realize that there are very powerful people in the room, VPs, people that had years of experience that were just kind of letting themselves have an opportunity to recharge. And so one of the things I really enjoyed, because I was only there for one day, it was from the 19th to the 21st in Brooklyn, New York, and I live in Jersey, so I just drove on down, was that they had some amazing speakers, and specifically for me, one person that resonated was Fawn Weaver. If you know who Fawn Weaver is, let me know in the chat below. And yes, Mitch, yeah, Oracle was actually there recruiting. So if you were somebody in sales looking for SDR, BDR position, or another sales role, they were actually recruiting and were looking out for people, and it was a very exclusive opportunity for sure. But yeah, Fawn Weaver was actually there. And if you're not familiar with who Fawn Weaver
Yeah, tell
is,
us.
yes, Fawn Weaver, and I'm gonna see if I can get her picture right here because I think it just passed by. There she is, Fawn Weaver.
Yeah.
She was able, she's the first black woman to build a $1 billion company, in regards,
Hey.
and specifically in the spirits industry. So she actually has a brand called Uncle Nearest. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a whiskey brand.
Mm-mm.
And and I'm telling you, when she talked, man, I was at the edge of my seat. You know, I was at the edge of seat because she was saying some amazing things. I can't even recall everything that she said, but she was just sharing based of her experience working in the entertainment industry and then moving over to spirits, and how she was able to do that was to catapult her business to that level. It was amazing. I mean, her story alone, and the fact that she's like, listen, I'm not looking to sell alcohol or whiskey. I'm looking to sell a story, and the story is about Uncle Nearest, and the story about how he had to go through all that he had to go through, and his journey from slavery to where he was. And the funny thing is, she shares stories about how that resonated with so many different people from various different backgrounds because of their immigration story as well. But it was just a powerful moment, and so there were so many different things that were said that I couldn't remember because I was just like, man, this is amazing. Um,
Enamored.
Enamored is the
You
right
were,
word. And
yeah.
so it was cool, even though there was other brothers there too supporting as allies, and it was kind of cool to be in the room in those settings because it was, even though it was a larger space, it it felt intimate in so many different ways. And so I just wanted to kind of point that out as, there's a lot of things that went on there. As you saw, there were different partnerships with beauty bars. Again, there was recruiting that was going on. They called the recruiting bistro, where all these different companies were set up, Trade Talk. Uh, there were so many different companies, Growth HQ, which we could talk about. We talk about them on the show a lot. They were there as well. So it was really a cool time to be a part of that. They also have upcoming events as well with Sisters in Sales. But I definitely would encourage y'all, if you have not done anything this year, to get connected. There's so many different events that are going to be popping up that we're going to be talking about. And so I definitely encourage y'all to do that. And so that kind of leads me to the next segment, which is a segment which we call Black Tech, we call it the bulletin board, because I want to make sure that y'all are able to go ahead and be a part of these amazing events. And so the bulletin board, I'm not going to show the screen today. I'm just going to read off of the list. But if you don't know, the bulletin board is a segment powered by Black Tech Global, where we share different events that occurred, that are occurring or coming up. And if y'all even again, if y'all have a moment we want you to share your story about an event you attended, go ahead and click on the link to call into the show. You could also type it in the bottom, and definitely we'll mention it as well. Yeah, because Mitch said Oracle, Big and SAP are big companies. Yep, they are big companies. Yeah, and Mitch said it on Fawn Weaver, dope story. $1 billion woman. That's absolutely right. Um, and yeah, there's so many different people that were there. Oh, Darcel's in the building. What up, Darcel? Good to see
What
you,
up? What
brother.
up?
So glad that you're in the building. So let me run through these real quickly, and then I'm going to pass the mic to my brother Trey because he has a story that he wants to share as well. But basically, these are the events that are coming up, and I'm going to start off with Black Tech Saturdays. That's happening in Detroit, Michigan. That's $0 for that event. Then you have STEM Social Black People in STEM Mixer, which is in Los Angeles, California. That's $35 for that. Then Growth HQ, they really do some great work. They're going to be doing an event September 24th, which is a ServiceNow Tech Sales Career Fair in London, UK. That's £0 for that one. So if you are in London, and you're looking for a role, definitely check that out. There's also $1 Million Coach Summit that's virtual, $97 on September 26th. 27th is STEM Social in Charlotte, North Carolina, Mixer, $35. Then September 27th to the 28th, Black Blockchain Summit 24 in Washington, D.C. Starts at around $125 for that. Then September 27th to the 29th is NOAA's New Orleans. That's going to be $375 for that particular event. And then from September 29th to the 30th is Black Women Tech Talk, which is happening in Toronto, California, around $149 starting in price point. But you can check out all this and more at blacktechglobal.com. Again, blacktechglobal.com, your premier source for events. And so I wanted to make sure that we flew through that so that hey man, if I want to get all the details and all the good stuff, I need to run over there, click on the links, and see what is happening in my neck of the woods. And then OTTO says they do a lot of tasting events here in Kentucky, whiskey, bourbon, Central. Boy, you are not lying. You are not lying. Man, she broke down the business though. There was one question she had, like, how did you do it? She broke down the business, and she basically said this, like, they would probably say you start in 3 or 4 distributors because distributors run the whiskey alcohol game, right? But she said, "No, I'm gonna release it in all distributors all over the United States at the same time." So she really had, like, I feel like almost like a guerrilla style approach to it, and that's what made her
Yeah.
catapult so fast and do so many different
Hey,
things. Man, if you could
that
catch
and a
this,
story, man. That
I
and a
was
story.
yeah, man.
Storytelling is it's up here. If you can tell a story, man, life gets a whole lot easier. This year I've been working on that. This year I've been focusing heavy on storytelling, not
Mhm.
like literally telling a story, but you know what I mean, like being able
Yeah.
to get that out, man. But yeah, I believe it. When you got a story, Uncle Nearest must be the story, and if she can tell it well, then yeah, it can go. So yeah, I might see if I can try and find her keynote so I can actually watch it, man.
Yeah, that and also get the book. She has a book about Uncle Nearest and everything, the story behind it.
I was
Um,
wondering if she had one because I,
yeah.
I don't know. Just listening, it reminded me of one of my favorite books, and I was like, man, if she's the first black woman billionaire from business, she definitely should have one because the first black male billionaire from business has one. It's one of my favorites. It's Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? And
Mm,
it's basically it's about Reginald F. Lewis, and he did his through merger and acquisition, like literally buying a business and then growing it from there. But he's actually from closer to your area. No,
mm.
DC. He's from DC. But yeah, so she definitely has to have one. But yeah, I definitely will. I love me some books, so I'm gonna see
Yeah.
what it's talking about.
It came out today. It's called Love and well, not today. It came out in 2024 called Love and Whiskey. It,
Oh,
I
okay.
def Yeah, I'm definitely gonna grab that book. She talks about even how to like, because she's a believer. She's like, listen, my Sabbath day, I ain't talking to nobody. I ain't talking no business. I'm just so. But she talks about how she approaches it. She's like, I always eat when before I drink alcohol, so it doesn't get into my bloodstream. My food absorbs it, and she kind of breaks it down on how she kind of goes about doing that. And one powerful thing she said was she cares so much about the customers that if you were to DM her, she will respond. If you write her a thesis, she will just kindly say, "Hey, please break that down to understand what you're saying," and people politely do so. But she said that you know what, when the book comes out, I'm going to sign 10,000 copies, and it went crazy. People were basically kind of signing up like left and right. That the publishers couldn't keep a tab on who was signing up. So she said, "Listen, you know what? How many books would I need to sign in order to keep my promise?" And I said 25,000. She
Mm,
did, and this was genius of her. She just said, "You know what? For 24 hours, I'm going to clear my calendar. I'm going to do this." And she announced that, and somebody said, the Guinness World Record is like 16,000 signatures. So she got the Guinness World Record in
got it
there.
done.
She did 24 hours on Instagram. The CEO of Sisters in Sales said she literally ended up going to watch the live, going out to work or doing something, came back to live. She's still signing books. Went to go eat, went to go to dinner. Came back still signing books. Went to bed. Woke up in the morning. She's still signing books. At 6 a.m., people said she's still signing. She was signing all the way for 24 hours, and she hit the Guinness World Record as well as promote
Got
her
it
book
done.
in one shot. So that's the type of woman she is.
Let's
Which
go.
that's how woman
Dedication.
she is. Yeah, Mitch said she gives all the info out. Yeah, and also that's pretty amazing. I like Uncle Nearest. Ralph tells stories. I do believe him. Take on Ralph. Trey says Trey gonna go in an intro like Fresh Prince of Bel Air. If you could
Nah,
drop an intro.
nah,
Yeah,
nah.
that's funny. Where does Robert F. Smith fit in? That's a good question. I think with her, I wanted to be specific and say with the distilling business, $1 billion woman there. I would have to take some more time to be educated on the other aspects of it, but I would say specifically with distilling, that's
Well,
what she.
yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, yeah, Robert F. Smith, he's definitely up there,
Yeah.
but he wasn't the first one. That's why I said, check out Reginald F. Lewis. He has a biography. It's called "Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun?" The
Mm,
first black billionaire did it in the it was either late '80s. I think it was late '80s, but he was getting to it.
yeah. And I got a question here from Cole Taylor. And after this, we could definitely go on to the segment that we have next, what I think you guys are going to really be interested in, which is about the pig butchering scams. But Cole Taylor says, is it possible to get into tech sales with sales experience alone? I have 10 years of retail experience, and absolutely, absolutely. I actually
Hmm.
had a video that I dropped Saturday, talking about the misconceptions of tech sales, and one thing I would love to say is that you can get into tech sales with that background. Um,
Yeah.
I know people that have no experience in tech sales, transition from car sales, transition from being nurses or doctors, well, specifically nurses, and then other people that have different backgrounds, educators, teachers that are able to transition over to tech sales. And I think I'll let Trey answer or add to that.
Yeah, Cole. Simplify the process, though. I would say, if you haven't been, if you're not in tech sales, or you haven't been in tech sales, simplify it by starting in the place that you had the most experience in over those 10 years. So, find the tech that aligns with that space that you've been in. Like if you've been in a certain space of sales for 7 years, 6 years, that means you probably know a lot about that area. So I would go and find the tech companies that align with that space so that you can not only have a simpler path, but you'll probably get more interviews in that space. You'll probably be able to speak to it a lot better, more confident, and they understand that you already have experience in that space as well, so you could, that's something that you could speak to and really be able to get that point across. So yeah, for sure, do that, man.
Yeah, and Mitch actually put a good question uh, in there as well. In regards to nurses, really, I said he said that's dope. Is that like healthcare sales? Just wondering. And actually, it was in healthcare, and they were killing it because imagine going back to what Trey said about stories. They're coming to the conversations with the BP, the buyer persona, saying, "Hey, look, I've been an ER nurse for X amount of years and X amount of times, and I could testify that these XYZ problems were headache for me as well. And but with this technology, we're able to solve X, Y, and Z problem and da da da. Da. And their story is now a personal one that anybody they get on the phone to, especially if they work in that particular setting, can resonate with. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's have a conversation about this. So going back to what Trey said, Cole, leveraging that experience is huge. There are AI companies right now that are dealing specifically in the retail space or e-commerce space, and you could actually lend let your real world experience to conversations and tie in your story to the brand that you're selling for. And so I
Yeah.
think nothing resonates in such a powerful way when you're talking to prospects than a story that is connected to it, that has meaning, that shows the problems that can be solved. So definitely don't, in fact, see it as a power, a superpower that you have now is that experience. So great point, Trey. Trey
Yeah,
nailed that.
when I say they're in every space, I literally, I mean, I remember I've had conversations with companies. What was that? It was a company that literally they dealt with art galleries and art, and like I can't even remember what they did with them, but that was their space. So like think about it, somebody who is an artist or somebody who literally, they've been working with photos and artwork for years. If that was a space that if they were now trying to maybe transition into tech sales, that's a company that they could go and work with and really enjoy that and really um be able to sell, but the selling would be easier because that's something that they really love is art. I just thought it was interesting the fact that there was even a company that was doing that. So yeah, it's in every space, every industry. But that's the least path of resistance, right? Try it.
Yeah, and just to kind of give you even more actionable steps, what you can do is for now, depending on the time you have, 5 to 10 companies that you've researched that are doing work within the retail space. Do research on them, get 10K, listen to their earnings calls, learn more about the construction of their company, the product they're selling, the problems that they're solving, and then from there, do research on LinkedIn and other resources to find who are the hiring managers, who are the recruiters for this particular space. And you're going to want to set up what's called a sales sequence or a cadence that allows you to then make sure you have an omni-channel approach, multiple different touches, call, LinkedIn, cold email, so that you can be able to go ahead and reach out to them. And I think that's the part that, if you may not know because you may not really study the field, but to get the job, specifically in tech sales, you have to do the job. You have to show them that you know what it is to research, to prospect. So that side, If you want to, there's other ways to do it. You could do YouTube University, which is not bad. But if you want to understand how to basically prospect and do those different things, you want to understand the language. There are courses out there that are, free introductory courses or course careers. There's other places that you can go to get those resources. So now that you are coming to the table, you're coming with the retail knowledge as well as the industry knowledge of being an SDR, BDR. So that's just some tidbits that you want to throw out to you, and we could always talk about other things as well there. But that's what I would kind of give you as next actionable steps. Uh, but yeah, I'm gonna
Good
digress.
stuff.
I'm gonna digress. But yeah, man, I when you said the story to me, Trey, I was like, I never knew about this, but it's old as
Me
time.
either. It definitely is.
It is
It
old as
definitely
time. But
is. What story is he talking about that's old as time? Um, a little storytelling. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. It's called pig butchering. Okay, pig butchering, and it's a pig butchering scam. All right. And here's the thing: we're talking about first off, what are pig butchering scams? But then a lady, a district attorney who has cracked the code on 'em. All right, Erin West. She is a deputy district attorney in Santa Clara County, in Cali, and she's actually became the leading figure in defeating and fighting against pig butchering scams. And here's what y'all need to know. All right, so pig butchering scams, what are they? They're basically a type of financial scam that normally begins with a message, an unsolicited message from a stranger, and then it's often done through a text message, social media, dating apps, and basically the scammer, they send you an innocent message, right? It's like, oh, a seemingly innocent message, and like, oh, wrong number, right? Or a text to initiate that contact. And then they might claim that they found the victim's contact in their address book, or they provide something fake, but a convincing profile photo, right? For the dating app, stuff like that. Now, the goal of this scam is to make sure they talk to the victim in conversation. And then if they acknowledge the mistake, and then they slowly build a rapport over the coming days, weeks, sometimes even months. And this process is known as fattening up, right? Fattening up the pig. And that's designed to basically gain trust, right? They're telling stories, y'all. They're they're building trust with these people and introducing topics that's related to like investing and money. And then ultimately that's when they hit them, and they butcher that pig. So, right, the pig butchering scams, they combine romance fraud, and then they're also incorporating cryptocurrency now, the crypto investment schemes as well. So they, like I said, they build that trust, and then they get them to invest in fake crypto platforms. And y'all, this losses from these type of scams have went through the roof, obviously, but Americans have literally lost at this point. No, I'm sorry. Back in from 2022, an estimate of 2.6 billion with a B dollars up to 2022. So y'all know that number is probably doubled by now. Anyways, where did Aaron West come in? All right, so Aaron West, she has now become one of the prominent voices in fighting these scams because of what she did. So, but she basically leads workshops for law enforcement agencies across the U.S., basically educating them about these crypto related scams. And yeah, she basically often she is the advocate for a more empathetic approach to the victims, who they're often to blame, right? Normally, if you're listening to this, you probably said it yourself, like, "Oh, they crazy for doing that. That's on them." But she comes at it from a different side, and kind of helps the authorities with this as well by dismissing the authorities. But some of the challenges that they have in basically fighting against this scam, a lot of local law enforcement agencies, they don't really have expertise in crypto, like they don't know it, and they don't understand crypto crimes as well. So scammers, they often can basically just operate without having any prosecution, because nobody knows what it is, they don't know what's happening. And when you're a victim of it, it's skepticism, right? And then they don't want to really report the loss, right? They're not really saying what actually happened. And so basically what happened with her is somebody came to her and they or came to Miss West, and she was actually able to find a way to find the money. And from then on, like more and more people were coming to her, and that's how she became the face. So she basically works to trace back and then freeze the stolen money. And then sometimes she actually is able to get that money back, including from the crypto wallets, which is crazy. Because apparently you're not supposed to be able to find that money anymore. But maybe that's what makes it so difficult. Anyways, she actually she's able to actually collaborate with these crypto exchanges and the blockchain analysis firms to try and find these transactions. So that's how she's able to do it. But y'all, it's one of those things. Um, it's getting more and more prevalent, and it's a lot of people out here losing a lot of money, falling for these folks. You know what it reminds me of, Joseph? Those email scams from what is it?
I won't say.
Princess, right?
Yeah,
You
Princess.
remember those?
Yes, I'm stuck out of my account. I need you to.
Yes, yes. I just need you to send some money, and then I'll send you back $1 billion. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that it's one of those things. And I've gotten text messages before, like, hey,
Me
da, da, da.
too. After reading that, I'm like, I've gotten the wrong number text type, but obviously, your boy just swipe report. I don't even know what it's called, but yeah,
Report junk.
delete it. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, no, I did that as well. So yeah, listen, y'all. Let me ask you: have you guys have fallen victim or at least seen this scam happen to you? And what I mean by seen, like, did you receive a text message? Did something similar happen to you? Let us know in the comment section below. But man, the fact that they call it fattening up, I was like,
Yeah, bro.
oh, I feel so disrespected. I feel like you see me as a product, which is the truth. I mean, that's the honest truth. Um,
Yeah.
that was the whole goal. Listen, y'all, have you ever heard of this scam before or similar things, especially if you're in the crypto space? Mitch is laughing at me. But yeah, if you ever have seen or been a part of it, I'd love to hear your experiences. We definitely want to make sure that we are getting your insight as well if this is something that you have either experienced or seen. So let us definitely know in the comment section below what your experiences have been with this. But
I
yeah,
mean, they risk game must be through the roof, bro. I don't understand how somebody could, fall at. I don't know, fall for this so fast, uh, and then actually get into like, especially if you're not in the crypto or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
how they fall into this so fast and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, it's happening, and it ain't just old people. So you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that's out the window. Um, but yeah, they game must be through the roof. You know what I'm saying? They got the honey tongue.
The honey tongue, I tell you.
Yeah.
Mitch is laughing. He said, "Never heard that." He said, "How? What trade know about Riz?"
Hey
LOL.
man, I try and stay in the loop, right? I just heard this weekend, listen, I'm 30, I'm up there, but you gotta stay in the loop. So this weekend, I just heard about okay, what CC? CC is check comments. That's what they're using for check comments now. CC, and then what else? Oh, for a more relaxed fit, like if somebody just getting in a chill outfit, it's called calm fits. Okay, I'm going with the calm fit today.
Oh,
That's a chill fit. That's what they saying these days. So yeah, I try and stay in stay in there a little bit.
yeah. Stay with the young people, man. We try to stay with the young people as long as we can before it's too late.
You got to
Oh man,
connect.
you gotta connect. The next generation needs it, man.
Yeah,
It's so. Here's the thing: when we talk about connection, There's certain connections that are good, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain connections that are not for our good. And so we have to ask ourselves, hey, is this, did I could give consent to this type of connection, this type of access to me? And that's the next segment, because it recently came up that LinkedIn is using your data for Gen AI.
Mm,
And I'm not too sure if y'all,
mm.
wait, before I even get there, this is hilarious. My OTTO says a crypto Rizzler. Oh
Hey,
man,
it's got a
that is
ring to it.
hilarious. It's got
It's probably
a,
going. It's gonna be on Netflix coming soon.
yeah, coming to a theater near you, the Rizzler featuring the Nat Man, not Batman, Nat Man. No,
Man,
I thought that's hilarious.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
funny.
I this came up to me, and I'm actually going to share my screen for this one because I think it's definitely something that we need to talk about. Because sometimes these things happen. You're like, okay, cool, this is happening, right? Um, but it may not realize how often this is happening. So I want to bring awareness to this. I was scrolling on LinkedIn, minding my own business, doing my own work, and then this came up on the screen. And basically, what happened was there was this guy. I'm giving him respect. Name was Casey, and he basically said, "Listen, he's a LinkedIn. You have to know this would was one wouldn't end well. Right? Opt out." And then he says, "P.S. For those who don't know, you have been auto opted in by LinkedIn for their Gen AI model." And so I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Willis?" And so I go and click on the link. And sure enough, when I clicked on the link right there was that little, as you could see, that little box that says use my data for training content creation AI models. And it was on. So whatever recent update they had, or whenever they decided to slip that in, it was there. And so I said, "Oh, I did not know that my data was used to build content creation AI models, but I wish I did kind of know." But that they probably did put that in there, right? And we were not the wiser for it. So I literally just dropped the link in the chat. If you want to check for yourself, if you're on it, you could go ahead and click on that as well. But that made me ask a couple of questions, and I wanted to talk about that today with y'all. And the question was, listen, this is not the first time. So who else is using your data for Gen AI models and training it? And then I was like, wait a second, y'all train these models. I know people that get hired to train models. Wait, so let's talk about this for a second. Are you going to compensate me now for
Man,
using my data to train models? But basically, just to kind of again kind of go over this, LinkedIn has recently implemented a policy of using user data to train Gen AI models without explicitly seeking consent from users. And here are the key points about this. There's an automatic opt-in, like I just mentioned. The data that's being used for the AI training may include posts and articles, usage frequency, language preferences. Sorry, I can't speak. Preferences and feedback provided for LinkedIn in Teams. And so the expectations are not for UA, because the EU, I should say European Union, and the European kind of economic area and Switzerland are not subject to data collection for AI training. This exclusion may be due to the regulations like the EU Act, which sets out data governance practices for AI systems, which I don't know why we don't have that, but I think I know why. Money. Um,
of course.
so, so opting out, users who do not want their data used for AI training can opt out by going to that link there, that data privacy section in settings, clicking on data for generative AI improvement, moving the slider to opt out of data usage for training content creation AI models, which I did. And then the LinkedIn did have a response to this. It said even more choice and control. LinkedIn has stated that the change gives users even more choice and control over how their data is used for AI technology training. They emphasize that people come to LinkedIn for job opportunities and networking, and Gen AI is part of how they assist professionals with these goals. In conclusion, while LinkedIn has implemented this data usage policy by default, they have provided options for users to opt out if they choose to do so. And so, but I'm going to pause there, go to the comment section to see if anybody had any thoughts about that. But yeah, if you do have any thoughts, definitely let us know. I want to make sure that we are hearing you out and making sure we should respond to you. Mitch said, "I told Ralph this yesterday. He didn't believe me." Oh, I would love to
Hey
hear
man.
Tech Coach Ralph's response to that. But yeah, I clicked on the link, and I actually posted a link here, y'all. So if y'all want to click on that link at the bottom and come on back, that's totally fine. But to check it out for yourself, because when I clicked it on, mine was on, and I
Oh,
was like,
it's automatically on for sure.
yeah, it's automatically on. So if
It's
it's something you don't
crazy.
feel, if you don't something you don't feel comfortable about, you'd be like, swipe, next side. All right. And so the next question I had, and this is probably something that you might be considering too, are what are the other companies that are doing this similar to what LinkedIn did in regards to automatically opting you in to feed and train the Gen AI models? And here are some notable examples. We have Gemini. Gemini uses data from its free services and APIs to improve its products, including AI models like Gemini. So that makes sense. You go to Gemini, you may say, "Hey, I put in this prompt with this information." Well, that information's in the model now. So that's something that makes sense because you're actually going to
Yeah.
it for specific information. OpenAI and Microsoft Copilot work the same way. Meta has announced plans to use publicly available data from its platform to train its AI models, and we know they have the treasure trove when it comes to data because everybody and their moms have been on there for years. And while they claim not to use private messages, they will utilize public posts, photos, and others shared on Facebook and Instagram. Slack was recently found, and they actually are bringing AI into their different offerings as well. But they basically use
Mm,
files, messages, and data to train its AI features without explicit consent. Now, this is interesting because it's business information. So sometimes that depending on what they're taking can be problematic. If you have an earnings call,
yeah.
there's things you don't want to come out there, but you are sharing that internally in Slack. That's something to look at over over that. And then there's Stack Overflow announced that OpenAI would be able to train its models using the knowledge and answers contributed by users over the past 15 years. And then
Mm,
Common Trends automatically opt in many like I said, the common trends are they automatically opt you in, difficult opt out processes. The LinkedIn one is pretty simple with this link, but there are difficult opt out processes for the others. The lack of transparency and data scope, the extent of data used varies, which could kind of be a little bit tricky. But y'all, what are your thoughts on this? I know I said enough to let my brother Trey speak, but what are your thoughts on this particular topic?
nah, I mean, I ain't got much, bro. It's a little dicey, man. It's a little like shisty. It's real crazy though that they make it difficult. I didn't realize they made it difficult on some of these platforms to actually opt out of the stuff for data collection. I don't know. I don't know how they thought they were going to get away with it. Somebody was going to find out and say it. I wonder how viral it is, or if they, kind of throttled throttled this post. But the craziest part is when you share, you can't really throttle a share. So, um, that's the one thing about that. But yeah, hopefully the people who don't want their information shown automatically can actually see this post and get it out of there. And then if you're looking at this and you didn't realize like all the other platforms are doing the same thing, well, now you can focus on that and get that taken care of for yourself. But yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know, man. It's just funny that they just automatically have it on. You'd think it'd be off unless they got us, and they were like they did an update and then it was just slipped in between, all the writing, and then when you pressed OK, it's like, oh, automatically on, and then it's go from there. So
Yeah, and I got Oris in the building. What up, Oris? He says I'm late. I'm
hey,
sorry. No worry, you came at the
no
perfect
such
timing.
thing. Actually, I mean, it's almost over, but you know, we still appreciate you for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And just keep in mind that if you want to watch the replay, it's going to be on Talk That Tech YouTube channel, which is below on the ticker. So if you have not subscribed, go there and subscribe so you can see the replay of the show. Or you could go to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever podcasts are available. But yes, Oris, you are to automatically opt in to this LinkedIn using your data for training content creation models. I dropped the link so that you could opt out if you prefer to do that above. So definitely check the chat for that. And listen, this was 3 days ago that this was posted, 913 reposts. And I'm pretty sure that that's just the beginning of this being reposted. Um,
Yes.
So there's a lot of people that are going to have different thoughts on this. In fact, if we scroll down, and thank you, Casey Ricky, again for bringing this to people's attention. But as you can see, somebody had angry mob noises intensify, and just like the different comments that they have here. Thank you so much for sharing this. Haha, commenting for reach. Like there's a lot of people that are responding to this. Thank you for dropping the link and making it super easy for my very busy brain to turn this off in just 2 clicks. So he's doing the Lord's work right now. He's doing the Lord's work because it was that easy. I literally, if you, in fact, I'll do it so you guys can see it. I click the link, and it literally takes me to where you could opt in or opt out, and what happens is it opens up another tab, and then when you go to that tab, it basically gives you, and I have really slow internet right now. What up, Nancy? I have Nancy on IG. Good to see you. We're talking about and you are opting for this already on LinkedIn, where they're using your data to build content creation, Gen AI, I can't speak, Gen AI models. So if you want to opt out, the link is on YouTube, Nancy, on our show. But you could also go to this, and you can see right here, mine is opted off. But as you can see, data for generative AI improvement. This was automatic. This was already on when I looked and clicked on this link before. So the fact that with 2 clicks I was able to sign in and do that, that was pretty quick and easy. So
Yeah,
again, props to
definitely made
Casey.
that
Yeah, Casey made it really
simple.
easy for that. So props to this. Sometimes you gotta look at these posts because they got some good information in there.
Man.
Um, but yeah, that is one thing we know about for sure is that when it comes to the misuse of data and the misuse of this and the misuse of that could get you fired. And so we always have this segment that we love to talk about, Brown Box Special, where there's stories of people that have been laid off, fired, or just quit. And if you know any stories like that, or seen or experienced it yourself, this is the therapeutic moment to let it all out and share with us what those stories may be, as we would love to make sure that we laugh at our pain, laugh at our pain, or we said you'll listen to the replay. So that's excellent, uh, and so glad you're doing that. But yes,
Yeah, appreciate that.
I'll let you share the brown box special.
Yeah, brown box special. Quick one today, guys. Quick one today. This employee, he worked at a small zoo, and he was responsible for the penguin exhibit. All right. One day, this guy decided to play a prank by replacing all the real penguins with inflatable ones while the real penguins were being examined by the vet. The employee, yeah, he thought this was just gonna be a funny, harmless joke, like, oh, we're gonna see what these folks laughing at. But it backfired. A small group of school children visited the zoo, and the kids were excited to see the penguins. They started throwing the fish at them, like, catch this, eat this, dive in the water for that. And they wasn't moving. Obviously, the inflatable penguins didn't react, and that caused confusion, and it actually started upsetting some of those little kids. And obviously, the other observers, like the adults, were like, yo, hold on, these penguins, they're not swaying in the natural motion with this wind. And so, anyways, zoo management, they quickly discovered that the prank was it was a prank, and it was not funny. This guy, he was fired immediately for misconduct and potentially damaging the zoo's reputation. And yeah, that was it, man. It's crazy to think of, because it's like, you know, me personally, I probably wouldn't have fired him, but uh, I don't know. I would have had to let them know. Like, you at least come out there and be like, "Hey, kids, they're being um, fixed on by the vets. But we did put the inflatable ones out here. Matter of fact, I brought one to the front. You know, goo goo gaga or something. But to just sit in the back with the binoculars laughing uh, at the little kids throwing the fish, and then them seeing that it was fake. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Um, you gotta get out of here. You're messing my rep up.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the comment right now with Mitch. Mitch says, "I like the zoo. I would be mad." Uh,
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know if I was there and that was me and it was happening to me. I don't know if I had to pay for the fish that I was throwing in there to get eaten, I'd be upset. Now, if they just giving the fish out, you know what I mean? I probably would turn it into a game. Let me see if I can knock one of these over. You know, I used to play baseball. Let me see if I can hit one of these inflatable joints.
Oh, we got Kanika on IG. What up, Kanika? Oh man, we're
Hey,
wrapping up the
hey,
show, but we had a good one
yeah,
today. So
yeah,
glad you're able to stop by. Oh man, but yeah, in regards to
appreciate that.
this situation, in regards to this situation, man, he could have actually turned it into good if he just had that sign that said, "Listen, we are taking care of the animals. They're going to the vet. They're making sure they're good. So in the meantime, here are these inflatable animals." I think that would have been funny. The news probably would have picked up on that and be like, "Oh, this is a funny story." But because it was
Yeah,
like, okay, we're gonna put this here, the lack of transparency, I think that's what got him in trouble. Mitch said, "I'm mad either way." LOL.
yeah,
He said, either way, you slice it or dice it. I am mad. I'm
get
infuriated.
all y'all.
Yeah, and so yeah, I totally get that for sure. But listen, y'all, thank you so much for rocking with us. This was another great episode of Talk That Tech. So glad that you're in with us. If you have any sort of ideas or thoughts or shows you want us to do next week, go ahead and put it in the chat or put it in the chat even now. We could definitely look into it and see what we can bring to the table. But yeah, thank you so much for rocking with us today. We definitely appreciate it. Yeah, but I just
That's a
want to,
fact.
that's a
That
fact.
is a fact. I didn't know you was
Oh,
waiting on me, man. But y'all, yeah, y'all appreciate y'all for hanging with us today. As y'all know, every Monday, y'all know where we at. Stop through, come through. This is Talk That Tech, the number one tech morning show in the world. And we're gonna see y'all in the next one next week.
yeah, no worries. I had a sniffle, so I muted myself. But peace and elbow grease. Take care, family.